Hamas-led militants have released 3 male Israeli hostages, and Israeli forces began releasing hundreds of prisoners in return, in the latest indication that the fragile ceasefire deal that has paused fighting in the Gaza Strip but that had teetered in recent days, is holding. Militants in the southern Gaza Strip paraded the 3 hostages: Yair Horn, 46, a dual citizen of Israel and Argentina, American-Israeli Sagui Dekolchen, 36, and Russian-Israeli Alexander Trufanov, 29, before a crowd before releasing them. All had been abducted from Kibbutz Nir Oz, a community that was hard hit in the October 7, 2023, attack that ignited the war. They appeared pale and worn, but seemed to be in better physical condition than the 3 men released last Saturday, who had emerged emaciated from 16 months of captivity. The truce that began nearly 4 weeks ago had been jeopardized in recent days by a tense dispute that threatened to renew the fighting. U.S. President Donald Trump's controversial proposal to remove more than 2 million Palestinians from Gaza and settle them elsewhere in the region has cast even more doubt on the future of the ceasefire. But Hamas said Thursday it would move ahead with the release of more hostages after talks with Egyptian and Qatari officials. The group said the mediators had pledged to remove all hurdles to ensure Israel would allow more tents, medical supplies and other essentials into Gaza. Israel began releasing 369 Palestinian prisoners and detainees on Saturday, including 36 serving life sentences over deadly attacks. The first released prisoners arrived by bus in a town in the West Bank and were greeted by a cheering crowd. It is the 6th swap since the ceasefire took effect on January 19. Before Saturday, 21 hostages and over 730 Palestinian prisoners were freed during the first phase of the truce.
כן, פעם שעברה הם היו כולם ביחד.
Donald Trump's administration will bring Russia back into the global economy and energy network if the war in Ukraine, now nearly 3 years old, comes to an end, Hungary's nationalist prime minister said on Friday. If the American president makes peace, if an agreement is made, I think Russia will be reintegrated into the global economy, reintegrated into the European security system, and even European energy system, Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban said. According to Associated Press, a phone call between Trump and Putin on Wednesday, where they agreed to begin negotiations on ending the war, abruptly ended a 3-year, US-led effort to isolate the Russian leader over Ukraine and raised concerns in Kiev and other European capitals that a negotiated settlement could take place without their direct participation. But Orban, who has long been critical of Western efforts to support Ukraine's defense and threatened to veto European Union sanctions against Moscow, praised Trump for his discussions with Putin, saying the US president wants peace. Orban, a leading figure of the far right in Europe, has long pursued close ties with Trump, and he is also widely considered to be Russian President Vladimir Putin's closest partner in the EU, and has maintained friendly relations with the Kremlin even after Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. In comments for Hungary's state broadcaster on Friday, Orban said, "I am personally convinced that the European Union is done for. There is no need to leave it, the EU will fall apart by itself. The Hungarian Prime Minister is facing increasing isolation within the EU for his position on the war in Ukraine, and allegations that his government has systematically rolled back Hungary's democratic checks and balances during his 15 years in power.
És a felek egyetértettek a háború lezárásának szükségességében. Az események ezután felpörögtek, és a Kreml tegnap már azt közölte.
Ha jön az amerikai elnök, békét teremt, megegyezés születik. Szerintem Oroszországot visszaintegrálják a világgazdaságba, visszaintegrálják az európai biztonsági rendszerbe, sőt, még az európai energia- és gazdasági rendszerbe is.
Helyet kér a tárgyalóasztalnál, mire ön úgy reagált, hogy ezt ki kell érdemelni. Hogy látja, hogy mennyi az esély arra, hogy Európa beleszólhat abba?
2010-11 óta. Én akkor győződtem meg személyesen arról, hogy az Európai Uniónak kampó, tehát ha itt valamit nem találnak ki a németek meg a franciák, és nem állítják új pályára az Európai Uniót, akkor ennek a napjai meg vannak számlálva. Nem kell ebből kilépni, szétesik ez magától is, hogyha ez így megy tovább. Tehát azért a kilépés erőltetés, vagy ennek a dolognak a fölvetése egy értelmetlen javaslat. Az Európai Uniónak egy pozitív küldetése van. Ha jól lenne szervezve, akkor jól szolgálna a tagállamok érdekét. Még mindig azt mondom, hogy Magyarországnak inkább belül kell lennie, de azt is látni kell, hogy az Európai Unió így nem tud megmaradni.
És a pártkancellár jelöltjét Alice Weidelt fogadta a héten. Mi volt a célja ennek a szerdai találkozónak tulajdonképpen, és hogyan hathat ez?
A jövőt nem Európában írják, hanem Ázsiában írják, meg az arab világban írják, a felemelkedő országokban írják, és ha Donald Trump elnök úr sikeres lesz, akkor Amerikában írják, de semmiképpen nem Európában. Ezért nekünk nem szabad belezárkóznunk abba a gondolatban, hogy mindig is mi voltunk a legjobbak, és mi vagyunk most is, meg azok is leszünk. Be kell látni, ennek vége van.
Az európai
Footage from an active train shows the moment the locomotive crashed into an SUV vehicle stopped in the middle of a track in Layton, Utah. According to Associated Press in the video, the train conductor can be heard saying, "Oh, come on," just moments before the impact. Another angle from a perched street camera shows the SUV driver getting caught between the railroad crossings and deciding to abandon the vehicle moments before the train collided.